Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Network Merchandise Shop. Check out our large assortment of logo merch and our lifestyle collection as well. Just head over to abvnetwork.com and click on Shop. We are also sponsored by The Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers a fully customizable carrying case that allows you to take your favorite distilled spirits or cocktail ingredients with you. Whether you're looking for yourself, a customized gift, or logo items for your business or event, The Bar to Go can help. Check them out at thebartogo.com. Use the number 2 when you type out The Bar to Go. Did you know Neely Family Distillery now ships its popular distilled spirits directly to you? To order, simply call 859-394-3258. Tell them the ABV Network sent you. Finally, we are sponsored by the upcoming ABV Barrel Shop, a new liquor store experience coming to St. Louis, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop will serve as home to the ABV Network and will be owned and operated by Steve Akeley, Jim Fosnot, and Scott Creighton, aka the Barrel Buddies. To learn more about the investment opportunities in this new venture, listen to the ad at the end of this podcast. And now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we discuss whether or not allocated bourbon is the Cabbage Patch Dolls of the 2020s. My name is Beka Sue. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akeley, along with our special guests, Phil Collin, Lenny Eckstein, and Tim Swyatt.
Hey everyone. What's up?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, we'll get into the topic after the break. This idea is it the Cabbage Patch Doll of the 2020s, and we'll explain exactly kind of what that means, and we'll have a discussion about it, but we'll get to that in a little bit. For right now, Lenny said there's something he wanted to talk about. What is that, Lenny?
So I just returned from a family vacation, myself, Amy, Arlo, my 2 parents, and that had all kinds of dynamics, but not so unexpectedly, there was some level of disaster.
Oh,
and I mean, in the end, like everybody's fine. It was not like disaster in its truest sense, but it got me thinking about what other people might have experienced in travel on the tone of like disaster that might make other people laugh at the time. It couldn't have been any worse.
Uh-huh.
And then I'll let you know what happened to me yesterday.
Oh,
so I mean, personal conflicts. Yeah, I mean, as an adult. We didn't take vacations when I was a kid, so there was no such thing. We went to Disney when I was 5. Disney World basically was pretty new, and we went there with another family, drove down, and I thought, this is great. I'm a 5-year-old kid. I love vacation. We never did another vacation again until I was in college. And then when I graduated college, we went out to Vegas with my sister, and we got in a big argument, and she was demanding that my parents fly her home and stuff like that. Because we couldn't get along, for 3 days in Vegas. And, my sister, very volatile, MF and me and stuff like that. And, jumping across the bed at me, diving over to beat me up or something. I don't know. I don't know exactly what was going on. Everyone there's horrified, including me, at what's happening. But so I don't know. That's kind of a worst family disaster thing. And then we just decided we couldn't travel together. So my sister and I, we get along enough, but don't put us in close proximity for as much as 3 days. That's too much.
Diving across beds at each other.
Yeah, no, you dive across the bed as you're MF and someone. It looked like Charles Manson when he dove at the judge. She did the same thing. I think she had watched Helter Skelter. And yeah.
got totally horizontal at you, trying to get at you.
And then I had scratches down my arm and the whole thing. Oh, yeah. That was
leaping with reckless abandon.
Yeah. The warden was there. She saw this. My dad. The warden also saw my dad in his drawers for the first time on the Vegas trip.
Oh.
So yeah.
No, Cecil Royce isn't alone now.
My dad's walking around in his tidy whities, and the warden comes walking in. And my dad, God damn it, get out of here!
It is a disaster.
So yeah, so that was good times. So yeah, I don't know, Becca, any vacation disasters, whatever that is, since Lenny's not defining it.
Oh yeah, she says. Oh gosh.
First one that comes to mind, and the only one I'll actually talk about is, so Eddie and I would go on vacations together all the time, my brother. because who else were we going to go on vacation with? So we go just with each other on vacations. And we had planned, like, I had bought this vacation like a year prior. And so it was like all paid for and everything. And like, we like got free tickets to like, we went to Florida. I should preface it with that. And we were staying at like a huge resort and stuff. And I had rented a convertible Camaro, and I had like all these points and stuff that I had saved because I had been traveling a lot for work. And so I was like, I'm going to get us a Camaro and it's going to be awesome. And it was awesome. It was so cool. And we had this like awesome, huge room to stay in and like all these things we could do. And I got there early. And then Eddie only had so many vacation days. So he got there a little bit later than I did. And so I picked him up at the airport and in the Camaro and everything. And we were having a blast. Like we went to the, what's it called? Medieval Times.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So fun. And,
dinner show. Yeah.
Yeah. And we were just having an absolute blast. But we were downtown Orlando one night with some of our friends. And my purse, this purse actually right back here, got stolen.
Oh.
So what was in the purse was the keys to our rental car, all of my money, my credit cards, my debit cards, my ID, my passport.
That is
my cell phone.
That's a vacation disaster.
So everything was in this purse and it's gone. And I have obviously a mental fucking breakdown because like, what else do you do? Like, I mean, it's like, and this is the middle of the trip.
You have to do that.
We're there for an entire week. And this is on like the middle of it. Okay. And so I'm like, what the fuck are we going to do? Luckily I had taken my work phone out of my purse. And so I had a phone at least. And so that was at the hotel. And so the next day it's like, what do we do? We call the rental place and we're like, can we get keys? They're like, we don't have extra keys. And we're like, well, what do we do? And they go, well, you can return the car, but you can't rent another car because you don't have an ID to rent a car. And Eddie was not old enough at the time to rent a car. And they're like, we don't really have an option for you. So we call them again, but talk to someone else. And the lady goes, well, one option that you could do is you could just get it rekeyed. And then we wouldn't even know that ever happened. And you'd have new keys to the car. And we're like, okay. But of course, at this point, it's a Saturday. And like, we're calling everywhere. And they're like, oh, we don't have keys for that. No, there's no keys. And we finally get in touch with one guy. His name's Yuri. He is an Israeli
keymaker.
Mossad.
He would diffuse bombs over in Israel. And he like, when we met, like when he got there, we're like, this guy has killed a lot of people. Like
he might kill us.
Yes. But also was very, very nice. But I was like, this guy's, he's killed people and he's getting frustrated because like the whole key setup was weird. And so he like got us into the car and he sat there for like 5 hours that day, did not have the right stuff, left, came back. He actually gave us a discount on it because he's like, I'm just pissed off that I couldn't get this done for you guys in one day. And I'm sorry. He's like, I'm just going to give you guys this day for free. And like, I'm not going to charge you for the come back. So he made us keys. So we at least had a vehicle, but then I didn't have any money. I had no ID. So I can't drink. Like, I can't pay for anything. We still were going to Universal. I had tickets at one point, but I didn't have an ID to get the tickets. So my dad sent me a picture of the passport I had at home. And I'm like showing them that. I'm like, is this going to work? And the girl goes, it really shouldn't, but I guess. And I'm like, listen, my purse is stolen. All my money's stolen. I don't have anything. And she's like, okay. Yeah, we'll let you use this because you spent $600 on it. And eventually I was getting phone calls on my work phone from the Orlando Police Department, which I thought was weird. And I finally get in touch with this detective and they go, we found your purse.
Ooh.
And I'm like, how the fuck did you find my phone number? And they go, well, there was some keys to a rental car in there. And then you had your passport ID was still zipped in the side. They go, so we called Hertz. They gave us your phone number that was attached to it, which is your work phone number. So we've been trying to call you. And so the day that we flew out, we drove to the police station, got the extra set of keys back, and I got my passport ID so I could actually fly home. But it was an absolute fucking disaster.
Wow.
Wow.
I need a charge for listening to this story. There was a lot of mental health and things that went on here. This is great. Do you feel better?
Oh God, it was such a nightmare. And we still talk. But the fact that I still got my purse back, and I've had
hasn't lost it since. Yeah.
It's a Festivus miracle.
It's a Festivus miracle. That's my lucky sack. So.
There you go. Tim, any disaster?
Yeah. It was good to have a lucky sack.
Oh God. Sorry, audience.
Wow,
Tim,
this took a turn for the worse.
Yeah, Tim,
don't be sorry.
Help us, Tim. Oh
God, where do I start? I go right back to the family truckster. I could go on and on, but the one that reminds me the most, and I think Steve, you may this will reach home for you too. I was older in my years traveling with the family for vacation. I want to say it was probably my senior year in high school. We're going down to Branson, Missouri, and my mother made us make a detour to the Precious Moments Chapel.
Oh God! So
I spent about 2 hours at that place making fun of everything, ripping with my brother.
Yeah.
Oh, it was just.
I got a friend's wife who's into it, and she drug him there, and it's
oh my God! The things that came out of my mouth. Well, karma got me because that evening, as we're getting ready to go out to dinner, I end up zipping the beans and the Frank in the zipper. So it little Timmy from Precious Moments got me back anyways because it didn't hurt on the zip up. It's the zip out is what really gets you.
I thought you had the hot pot done. You just had you laid the tracks.
The whole thing. And it's pretty embarrassing as your mother saying, stand still. I said, no, I got this myself.
Your mom was helping you with this?
Oh, she's trying to help me. And I'm like, no, mom, I got this one.
Sounds terrible.
I got this one. I'm just going to do it. It's just going to happen. And we're going to deal with it later.
And I was yelling, he was masturbating.
So little Timmy got me there. There's multiple stories I can go on. Our families had all our vacations were either in a extended Chevy Caprice station wagon with a twin mattress in the back with the three of us, me and my brother and sister laying in the back. My mom she was a nurse in ICU for 35 years. She'd be working till midnight. My dad was supposed to be getting everything ready. We traveled with her parents, my grandmother and grandfather. They never had everything ready. So she comes home from a 12-hour shift, yelling and screaming, bitching and moaning. We get in the family truckster at 2 a.m. We wake up in some random place. It's either we're wearing our pajamas still. My sister would cut her bangs without anybody knowing. And we'd go to the first rest area and the favorite stuffed animals dropped in the toilet. There's just stories on and on. It's the Swyatt family.
That's kind of part of a family road trip, right? Disasters. Yeah. Well.
They're all disasters in their own separate way. But I think the worst one that comes to mind is, that it's not the zip up that hurts kids. It's the zip out because now you know what's coming.
Oh, God.
Don't wear tight shorts.
Phil?
I can't compete with any of these. My vacations have been pretty by the numbers and by the book. But the one thing that I have that kind of is in the same universe is in high school. We had this wonderful spring break running out our high school career, and we went to the Bahamas, and it was great. And there was one kid named Michael Mellors, and he was a British national. He'd been at our school for about 2 years. Great guy, fit right in. And when he went to fly back from the Bahamas to America, they said, your green card has expired. And he said, what? What the what now? He goes, you can't come back into America. Your green card expired 6 months ago, and now that you've left the country, you can't get back. He goes, I've still got 3 months left of high school. So he went home from that airport that day. The rest of us went back into the country. One of the parents or the chaperone stuck around for another couple of days. Eventually said, sorry, there's nothing to do, kids. See it. He's like, but I can't stay at the hotel anymore. I don't even know where should I go? So he went to the British consulate. They helped him, sheltered him, and eventually flew him back to England. And it was several years before he came back to America again. He had to finish his school remotely and graduate remotely. He went to the Bahamas for spring break and couldn't get back into America.
Stuck in the Bahamas. It's not bad.
Now, you probably have more questions than I have answers about how something like this happened, but it did.
Okay.
And he was in the Bahamas for a while, and then it went back to jolly old England because they wouldn't let him back into America.
Wow. Dressed up Lenny.
Not a good vacation. Yeah.
Yeah. Dressed up Lenny. What did happen to you?
So, we just got back from Costa Rica, and it was a great trip. It's a fun country, a lot of beach days. Let's see. So it was 2 days ago that we had a long beach day. I had my son in the water, pushed him into, got him on a boogie board and was pushing him around some waves, got him on a surfboard for a while. He got hit in the head by a surfboard, started crying, most likely underwater. I didn't think anything of this. fast forward to what was yesterday, and we're on the plane and we're flying back to Colorado, direct flight, which is nice. And the plane's taking off, and it's like I don't know, maybe 100 feet off the ground. And Arlo says to me, "Dad, I gotta go to the bathroom." And he's sitting at the window seat. I'm sitting in the middle. Amy's sitting to my right, like zoned out. And I turn to him. I'm like, "Give me a break, dude. You're clearly not going to the bathroom. Like, we just took off." So he kind of whines a little bit and then says, he's like, "Dad, I really got to go to the bathroom." I was like, "Fuck. All right. I guess like I'll try to have you get going." So as I'm like undoing my seatbelt so he can climb over all of us, I'm like kind of jabbing. I'm like, "Amy, he says he has to go to the bathroom. I don't know what to do." And then all of a sudden I just see his cheeks puff out. And it didn't click what's happening right away. Amy used to be a nurse. She's like, "He's going to throw up." So I freeze. And as I spoke to earlier, I'm wearing flip-flops on the plane. And he just starts vomiting everywhere.
Oh, man.
I'm in the middle of
a disaster.
Locked up. Like, I don't know what to do. I felt vomit hit my foot. And,
good. Mr. Flip-flops on the plane. Yeah.
Amy leaps across. It's all over everything. It stinks. And, so I get up and like my kid's throwing up. We got to go. So they give us bags and Amy cleans up in record time, which is awesome. I was like, "God damn, that was horrible." And she keeps laughing about it. I'm horrified. I think the people around us are a mix of like compassion, disgusted. 2 hours goes by and he says to me again, like, "Dad, I gotta go to the bathroom." I was like, all right, fine. So I undo my seatbelt. He starts stepping over me again, starts throwing up everywhere. So this time,
how old is your son?
He's almost 8.
All right.
You would
old
think,
enough to know.
Yeah, kind of. How about, "Dad, I'm going to throw up," like so I can jump out of the way. So
these little bags are for
the aisle, and there's people lined up to go to the bathroom before him, and you'd think they jump into action, get out of the way. No. So we've already changed him twice. Second time, I could go on, but you get the point. Like, is there anything worse? I mean, you guys all had some bad stories, but I'm still like,
it's pretty terrible. Pretty terrible.
I'm still traumatized. It's
projectile vomit, especially in between the toes. You can never clean that out, Lenny. No,
it was all over everything. It was all over.
No. As a plane is a shared experience. It's a whole thing going on. Yeah.
Also, like, I don't know. I think like when one drinks too much and has a similar problem, I think that's more okay. But sober projectile, it's not okay. I don't care how old you are. Don't do it.
Don't do it. Okay.
No, not recommended.
Hopefully you had a talk with him and he won't do it again.
That sounds awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tough.
That'll be a great story for him to tell his side of it in the Bourbon Talk Show.
Yeah, we'll have him come on. Yeah.
Yes.
He was pretty embarrassed. We'll see.
He'll be coming in. All right. Guess what? It is time to drink. What is everyone drinking? I guess eating away. Lenny, we'll start with you. I don't think we can start with Beka. She seems.
Since I'm fresh off the disgusting flight from Costa Rica, I'm going to drink some Plantation Barbados Rum.
Barbados. Oh, I love the Barbados. Go ahead. I was just going to say, most people, when they tell vomit stories, someone who's eating something will stop. Not Beka. She just continued. It didn't slow her down one bit.
That was well observed, Steve. I was going to say the same thing. Yeah, well observed.
It's going, yeah.
I was eating today while my husband was puking, and I could just hear him while I was eating.
I think that's a sign of a professional right there.
Yeah.
Someone who's been around the block a couple times.
Yeah. She didn't slow down. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Lenny. Right. Sorry.
Back to Cork Pop.
Oh, very good. Very good. For Lenny, that's incredible. All right. I'll go next. I've got from Neely Family Distillery here. This is a gift shop pick called Colin My Name.
Hey,
nice.
Yeah.
How about that? Still got the cool cork on there too. So that's a fancy one. All right.
Do some not have that cork anymore, Rebecca?
No, well, supply chain issues.
All right. I'm lucky.
That's good. Good. Not as good as Lenny's. Lenny's still got
bonus points for, popping a bottle with my ugly mug on the side. So.
There you go. All right, Phil, you're next.
Well, I should have done the same. But instead, we're taking a trip down to Lebanon, Kentucky to our good friends at Limestone Branch with the Minor Case Rye. Here we go. Squeaker. No, nothing.
Not enough. Tim, you're next.
I'm going to go north from Lebanon, Kentucky into a state of Indiana at French Lick. I've got the Lee W. Sinclair Iconoclast series. A little special edition distillery only.
Oh, nice.
Good. Not as good as Lenny's, though. That was
Nope.
not enough. All right, Miss Beka Sue, you're last.
I've got some Deer Hammer here. It is cast strength American single malt whiskey.
No,
not just a
enough.
Colorado thing.
Not enough. No.
Nope.
Cheers, gang.
Cheers.
Cheers. Hey, good pours all around.
No projectile vomit.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What we'll do next, we'll take a quick break. And then when we come back, it's going to be time to talk about this Cabbage Patch Doll thing. Is allocated bourbon becoming that? We'll do that in just a few. Hello, this is Steve Akeley of the ABV Network. Let's talk about the people who make this show happen. First up is Leatherwood Distillery in Pleasant View, Tennessee. Company founder Andy Lang started distilling as a hobby while serving his country as an elite Green Beret. Andy distilled all over the world during his time in the military and brought this passion back to him in the U.S. when he returned home. A visit to Leatherwood combines Andy Lang's unique distilled spirits and a museum of artifacts from his time serving the U.S. Share a drink with a fallen soldier at their bar where you can grab an acrylic bio off the wall that celebrates the individuals who gave the ultimate sacrifice to protect his or her country. They will also ship their distilled spirits directly to you, so check them out at leatherwooddistillery.com. We are also sponsored by Moonshine University. This longtime partner for the ABV Network helps educate individuals looking to get into the distilled spirits business, service industry employees looking to expand their knowledge, and individuals simply wanting to know more about the process and history of the spirits industry. In 2017, I completed my Executive Bourbon Steward certification at Moonshine University, and it's something I continuously draw upon and connect with fellow graduates. Check out their full listing of classes, including Executive Bourbon Steward certification, production classes, and more at moonshineuniversity.com. Okay, let's talk about Neely Family Distillery. In 2018, I met Royce Neely at an industry event. He started appearing on our shows, and we became friends during my frequent visits to Kentucky. Today, he's leading the way for young distillers making their mark on the bourbon industry. A visit to Neely Family Distillery combines family history, a look at what makes their products unique, and of course a tasting through their whiskeys, moonshines, and creams. Check them out at neelyfamilydistillery.com and visit them in Sparta, Kentucky. All right, back to the show.
Hi, this is Rick Brenner, and you are listening to the Bourbon Daily.
Shouldn't it be the legend?
Yeah, maybe.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we're talking about allocated bourbon, and is it becoming a Cabbage Patch Doll?
Yes, we are. So, if you're younger, you're probably thinking, what does that even mean? Cabbage Patch Dolls were Google them because they're ugly as can be. But for some
they're
reason,
adorable. They're adorable.
They're terrible.
Not as ugly as a truckster.
Maybe.
Garbage Pail Kids were better.
Yeah, Garbage Pail Kids were cool, but Cabbage Patch, no. So, but it was a big thing in the 80s, and there was adults fighting over them. They'd line up to get them, and then there'd be fights breaking out, and then make the news and things like that. And I don't know, it seems to be more and more this is happening in the world of bourbon. We had one in St. Louis where a guy had a major meltdown at a distillery release where they said that they had a special, barrel pick. And when that barrel pick sold out, they would draw out of the people that were there to win lands. Well, they assumed that the barrel pick was going to sell out instantly. Well, it doesn't. So this guy calls, he's not there at the beginning of it, but then he calls, I don't know, half an hour into it. I don't know what the timing was, and says, is this still going on? And do you still have bottles left? And they're like, yes. So he drives in, says it's 20 miles, which is just really across St. Louis. And he gets there, and they had already picked for the blends. They changed what the rule was. I guess he wanted to, if it took 5 days or 6 weeks or 2 years, we got to wait till the end of that time because that was the rules that they stated. He kept highlighting it and sending it out to everybody. Here's highlighted. Look, there's the rule. You made the rules. Why are you not following your rules? And then of course you keep hearing this thing about Heaven Hill, and they have a rule that you can have a chair out in front if you're there, but people apparently aren't there. They're going and setting up chairs, and then they show up at 20 minutes before the distillery opens, and they're like, "Oh, that's my spot. That's my chair was there." And and Heaven Hill isn't stopping that, so it's a big thing where they're fighting, and people are asking how many chairs are out and stuff like that. Here we are. It's 7:24 Central Time as we record this, and there's apparently 9 chairs lined up at Heaven Hill for whatever the release is tomorrow. So yeah, I mean, it's stupid stuff. And is this going to be the end, or is this just a hiccup and something that really doesn't even matter?
I think, like, to clarify, it's so hard because allocated is such a heavily loaded end on the front term, and the term loaded on the front end. I think it's important to point out that I say this all the time. Just because something is allocated doesn't mean it's worth your time, your money, your effort. The scarcity doesn't always ensure quality. So it's even nuts that people toss around the term allocated, like anything that's allocated, whether for whatever reason it's allocated, means it's an instant sign of a bottle you just got to own. I think that's the start of the problem with all this.
That's ingenious marketing right there. Price, placement, product.
Yeah. And distribution, right? The 4th P that I never quite understood.
That's right.
Yeah.
The 4th P, distribution.
All I know about marketing: place, product, price, and distribution.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, that's true. Like, let's talk about what the allocated term in general and how that gets tossed around. I don't know, like a curly hair Cabbage Patch Kid in the 1980s, and that's part of the problem too.
Yeah, because you go into a liquor store now and they'll be like, "Gosh, even our benchmark is allocated." Well, no, it's not. There's no one's lining up to buy your benchmark or anything like that. Maybe you can't get as much as you used to, but I still don't think that falls under the term allocated. But that may be a different story. It's not a defined term by any means. So people
or some distilleries that have limited bottles and they're only able to put some out, so the stores can only order so many. So all of a sudden it's allocated, and people go nuts over it because they didn't have it last week, and they may not have it next week. So this $220 bottle of sourced whiskey has got to get it because it's allocated, and that just drives
allocated. It's got the A word.
The Scarlet A.
Yeah.
It's an interesting circumstance, though, because we're talking about one of the few things that is oddly stuck to something that was kind of the case in whenever Cabbage Patch dolls were a thing, which was there was no internet then. So the only way to get them was to go to a store where a distributor for, I don't know what company made some Hasbro or something, distributed to whatever, toy store or outlet store. And that's kind of oddly where bourbon is I don't know, some would argue maybe for good reason, but I don't think it's a great thing that the only way to get it is to show up to the store and you're at their mercy. And I think that, Steve, I kind of, at first I thought, anything that talks about those weird ass plastic face dolls,
right?
Like, why but I think you got a point.
It might be onto it, yeah.
Is there anything else that's similar? I mean, like, what comes to mind? Maybe sneakers,
concert tickets,
tickets, right? Because like
at the box office window
now.
Yeah, but you could. There's still people who sleep out at the actual box office because it's a way to guarantee you can.
Like what Luddites?
Yeah,
like that's.
But I think it's way more prevalent in bourbon than even concert tickets.
Yeah, I was just throwing out the only thing I could think of. It is right.
Yeah.
The only other thing that I can think of that is similar to it is something that I don't necessarily know much about, but there's this brand called, I think it's called Ray Dunn. It's like cups and stuff that say like coffee, and it says cat, and it says like. They just are all these really stupid mugs that.
What's happening? Did you have a stroke? You're not making any sense at all.
People
like a rock.
I mean, it's the dumbest thing ever. But these women chase them down and like wait outside of TJ Maxx and then beat each other up when someone else grabs the cup before them.
So this is a Ray Dunn is a brand of like housewares.
Yeah, it's that's the only other thing I've ever heard of where people are going around beating each other up to get something that is stupid and is not worth beating up over.
At least bourbon's not stupid.
At least bourbon, you can drink it. This is just literally a mug that says cup.
Oh, no, it is.
Pouring your bourbon in it.
To me, it is quite embarrassing. Like
I learned
this guy who had the meltdown, and again, he thinks he's going to get everybody. It just reminds me of like Animal House, where Belushi is like, was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? And he gives his speech, his impassioned speech, and then he's like, all right, who's with me? And he runs out. and he's by himself. And that reminds me of this guy. Does anybody really care? He felt like he got fucked over because the rules got changed. No one cares. I felt like he was an ass. I felt more because the owner was like, please call me. I'd love to talk to you about it. Here's why we had to do it. And I just, I think these things can be resolved better by talking. This guy wouldn't call him, but he wanted to sit there and rail on him. And every post that he did dug his hole further, but he was too stupid to see that he's just making bigger ass of himself with every post. And I think that's the problem with this stuff is people don't realize how bad they look. They don't.
Yeah. So that's the thing for me, on the other hand, about allocated bourbon is that you've got the a-holes like that out there, but you've also had the people who, God bless them, they like what they like. And, we were talking about Ohio in another show and how they don't have great distribution. And somebody sent me this article from, I think, the Akron area about how a liquor store was getting an allocated allotment of Eagle Rare and some other products. Ooh. Eagle Rare, everyday tenure. Gotta get this guy, this 35-year-old guy who seemed like they seemed normal, insane from the interview and the picture of him. He parked his car outside. He got in line at 6 a.m. and he was so excited when the doors opened at 9 a.m. He had his choice of any $42 bottle of Eagle Rare, and it just made his day. So I guess God bless you. If you can do it without hurting anyone, and that's what gets your jollies. Every state has their different products. And in Kentucky, if you want to wait 3 days in line at the Old Forester Distillery to get your birthday bourbon, more power to you. It's a weird, strange thing, right? But
if you want to wait around for it, that's fine. But the fighting someone for it, or then turning around and trying to flip it to sell it for 3 times, 4 times, however much. 2
seconds after you walk out of the door.
Yeah, if you're actually getting it for something cool, like I remember when Star Wars was coming out, or the not the old Star Wars, but the.
You got to clarify that, Beka. You're not talking about the first 3. You're talking about the second 3.
I'm only 33, so I was not quite
okay,
there.
just making sure, because Phantom Menace and all that crap was out there too. Yeah.
I just remember waiting in line to see if you could to get in to see the movie, which I was fine. Who cares? You just go to the next one if you didn't make it into that. That doesn't hurt anybody. It's okay.
Right.
But when you go and
fighting about it, whining about it,
and then you just look around, saying you're just a little bitch about it.
Right.
Yeah. That's the problem. Is someone being just a little bitch about it?
So I think we can agree. The rule with allocated is you can do it all you want. Just don't be a jackass about it. Just
just be a good human being.
Just be a good human being.
It'd be more entertaining though if all that you're saying is fine and good, but what if people weren't? And I think back to I'm old enough to remember when the media reported of women and I guess men beating each other up over these dolls.
Yeah.
It wasn't awesome in any way, but it was kind of awesome. It was kind of entertaining as shit.
The fact they would get in these fights, it made the news. There would be fights over Cabbage Patch dolls.
Could that happen with bourbon? I say yes.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure it's had to happen.
Well, one of my favorite pastimes on the Sunday after Thanksgiving is, number one, watching all of the deep fried turkey fails and people setting their houses on fire on YouTube. And then the other one is watching all the news reports of all the fights breaking on and the rushing to grab TVs and everything. It's how did we get here? Right. How did we get here? So I'm scrolling through. I'm scrolling through social media this morning, and there was I saw 2 or 3 posts pop up with people kissing bottles of William LaRue Weller and taking their snapshot at the liquor store. Look, my day's getting better. My life's complete. Now, if you're turning that thing over for $3,000-$4,000, I'd be kissing the bottle. Right. If you're not, why? It's now you just put yourself a target. If I know where you're at, I'm coming to go rob your car these days. If you're in certain cities, now I know you got it. So it's. And what else is allocated?
Don't admit to crimes on.
I guess
on a recorded.
I guess PlayStation and stuff like that. That for the gamers, when they have the new systems and consoles. I'm not into that, but it seems like there are people lining up. I don't know that I've heard of any fights, but there's got to be with that stuff too.
They're excited to get it, but they're not. Maybe
ultimately
marketing games.
I don't think that's the type that's getting.
They're ultimately gamers that are living at home with their parents in the basement and stuff. They're not really getting in fights. No, I heard about a Heaven Hill one though, where a guy decided that the chairs don't matter; they weren't there, and he stood at the front of the line, and then challenged the people to be like,
those poor Heaven Hill people. They just want to have a gift shop and welcome tourists. They didn't sign up for any of this.
No, come on. The one guy in the parking lot who paid the 9 people to go sit in line and put those chairs out there at midnight, only to turn over the bourbon to them so he could flip it later, is really upset about that now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that a thing? Is that what they're doing at Heaven Hill, like scalpers in the old days?
Oh,
paying people to set up chairs?
It's a new thing, man.
That's
yeah,
absurd.
Yeah, the whole chair thing. So they're going to have, at some point, I think.
You know what's going to happen? Yeah, Heaven Hill's going to say, screw you. You're not our main income. We're doing this because it's nice for the consumers, but you're ruining it. So guess what? We ain't selling it here anymore.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. It's so irritating.
Maybe that's what's needed, though, is like, it seems like a traditional format of show up and if we have these bottles, you get them. But maybe that's just not going to be okay. Like, maybe it's still okay today and for a few more months, but like maybe in 2 years that format can't be the case anymore.
Yeah.
You have to get, I don't know, more sophisticated.
Well, think how many failed launches of releases have happened online where going blue. Was it Blue Run had the recent one and their websites or this, that, or the other, just getting torched. Brands
everyone tries
torched.
tries to do it with just the website, but then the website's crashed. No one has enough servers or whatever it takes to do that.
Gerbils, hamsters, small mice.
So I don't know.
Power the wheel.
This whole bourbon situation is tough, and that's one of the tough issues. Is
do you have this for any other spirit though? Do you have this for Scotch, Canadian? No, I mean, we know bourbon's the best. We're a bourbon related show, but you don't hear this for any other spirit, really?
I don't think so.
Maybe Scotch. I don't know.
Maybe Japanese whiskey because it's just not coming.
Maybe in Japan. I don't know. But I never seen
much more polite.
This with utmost assurance, it is not happening with vodka.
No. But I will say, if that Old Crow ABV single barrel release does come out, I'm fighting everyone for a bottle.
Oh yeah, there you go.
We're going to have a whole ring match.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That's going to be a tough one. Yeah, Lenny's going to win it because we know he's a trained cage fighter.
Well,
yeah.
Maybe now you're the new winner of all fights.
I don't know.
I got to relinquish my crown someday.
I'll be sicking my husband on everybody.
Yeah.
Get him, Royce.
Get him,
Royce. Get him, Royce.
I'll bring my son. Come on, Duncan. You're 7. Get in there.
Hey,
Get in there. Get low.
Before Phil, but I will.
Get low.
Yeah.
There's no rules.
Bring my son. He'll just tell you he has to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He starts projectile vomiting. He's going to clear a path. That's for sure.
Yeah, you would think.
Yeah, there's no doubt. There's
your secret weapon.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll wrap this one up. I mean, we didn't resolve anything, but I didn't expect to. This is a tough issue. No, but
it's crazy. Drink what you like.
Yeah.
Buy what you can. Be a good human being. Easy to say, hard to do, right?
There you go. Yeah. Where can people find you, buddy?
You can find me at abvnetwork.com under the corporate and private tasting events page or on Instagram at swyguy2112.
All right, Phil.
My company these days is hosting amazing bourbon adventures and experiences. So find me there at Phil Talks Whiskey. I am Phil. I talk whiskey. And then you can also follow me on social media, both on Instagram and Twitter at Derby City Phil.
All right, Lenny.
You can find myself and the rest of Deerhammer on social media at Deerhammer, on the web at deerhammer.com. We can order our American single malt or pretty much anything we have shipped direct to your door. And you can find me in beautiful Buena Vista, Colorado, where I will never wear flip-flops on a plane again.
No.
I made that mistake once, never again.
There you go. This is Beka Sue.
You can find me at Neely Family Distillery, and you can also find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Miss Beka Sue, 1K, no C.
All right. For me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. We've also got a company website, abvnetwork.com. Check it out because everything that we do is out there. Nothing's allocated. It's all out there on the website. So check us out, abvnetwork.com. Miss Beka Sue, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I'd like to say that maybe we should start allocating the shows.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. They're rare.
Drive up demand. I'd also like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review that includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to you. You're very good looking.
You're so good looking.
Oh, sorry. And it helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. If you like what we're doing, we ask you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
All right. Great job today, gang. For our audience, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
See everyone.
Peace. Before we finish the show, let's talk about some great companies that support the ABV network. First up is Moonshine Still Pro. Moonshine Still Pro has a full line of products to help the home distiller. Whether you want to experiment on the stove in your kitchen or you're looking for a bigger setup in your backyard, owner Russell Creed and his team can help. They have multiple still offerings, accessories, and even grain from their partners at Goldstone Mill to assist you in making whiskey on par with your favorite distillery. They can also help you with some fabricated parts you probably can't make yourself if you are attempting a DIY still project. Learn more or order your still or parts at moonshinestillpro.com. Another friend of ours is the Goldstein family at Goldstone Mill. The Goldsteins offer a variety of heritage and heirloom grains to make the finest whiskeys in the world. Plus, they are more than just a grain company. They are truly consultants to make sure the grains they are providing to you or your business meet your highest expectations. Additionally, they work with mills around the country, ensuring shipping is as low as possible for their customers. If you're a distillery, brewery, or even doing this at home, Goldstone can assist you. Check them out at goldstonemill.com, call them at 217-254-6613, or check in via email at hello@goldstonemill.com. Last but not least, at the top of the show, I mentioned investment opportunities at the new liquor store concept, the ABV Barrel Shop, being launched in 2022 by myself, Jim Fosnot, and Scott Creighton. We are crowdfunding some of the capital needed to open the store. Not only does it offer a return on your investment, but a lifetime of status and benefits at the store. Of course, this investment is a loan and involves a high degree of risk, which may not be suitable for all persons. Prospective investors should carefully evaluate the risk and merits of an investment, should confer with their own legal and financial advisors, and should be able to bear the risk of the loss of their investment before considering the investment described herein. If you would like more information, contact us via the under construction website at abvbarrelshop.com and fill out the form.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.